Zwelakhe Mnguni, Chief Investment Officer at Benguela Global Fund Managers, joins us now to take a look at the latest market moves. A very good afternoon to you, and thank you very much for joining us. So the rand has moved stronger on its opening today. Will its vulnerability continue should any new developments arise?
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for having me. Good afternoon to your viewers. I think the rand has shown some strength alongside other indicators. For example, if you take oil, has pulled back from the 105 level, $105. You look at platinum and palladium, they've also pulled back. So I think the strength is likely to remain. It looks like it's going to be a very short war from a situation in Ukraine, because the fear was that it was going to create a protracted war that could then impact on the flow of capital in global markets. I think it looks like that could be a short war. Having said that, I think we may see some lasting effects from that battle in Ukraine, where the price of gas in Europe is going to go up and stay relatively high. And therefore, we might see, because the gas price and the coal and the oil are somehow linked or converge at some point as feedstock of fuels. So I think we could see a bit of inflation continue to rise, and we might see, if the war pulls back, we might see that the central banks would step in forward fairly steadily.
You characterize it as a short war. Let's take a look at its overall impact on investment markets as well as asset allocation in emerging economies.
Yeah, certainly. I think inflation would probably pick up. Like I say, I mean, if you look at where the oil price is, I mean, even prior to the Ukraine situation, the oil was around 90. So we're sitting at 100 at the moment. So that is a major input into the inflation around the world consistently. And I think we will see inflation picking up. And that means that in a longer term, so in the next 6 to 12 months, the bonds would be under pressure as a result of that. They did strengthen yesterday, or the bond yields did decline and prices become stronger as a result of the situation in Ukraine. But I think things would normalize, and we'll certainly see that the bonds would come under pressure, and probably equities might come back in favor again.
Let's take a look at company news. Steinhoff Investment Holdings releasing a trading update. How would you characterize their performance, and will they ever be able to go back to their glory days?
Yeah, I mean, the trading statement was encouraging. I think on one side, I mean, the US business seems to have gained a bit more volume. The business back again, as they did say that because of the lockdowns, they were unable to sell, and looks like that there is a bit more business at the moment that's coming through. They grew revenue by 26%. I think the SA business was doing relatively well, so about 7%. I think in Europe, they also saw about 14% increase there. The pressure was more on the Australian side, what the business they call Greenlit. That business, Australia and New Zealand, that business seems to be under pressure. But overall, I think that the market's encouraged by the fact that they've gone through the 3 stages. They're on the 3rd stage, where they had planned to basically get into creditor agreements and then have some settlement to avoid a long litigation process. And they're now looking at restructuring the debt, or basically selling some assets to restructure the debt. So I think that process seems to be going well. They've got 170 billion rand worth of debt. So it's a long way to go, but I mean, it looks like there is some direction.
Oceana's independent forensic investigation is expected to be completed on the 4th of March. What do you anticipate the most? And do we see another Steinhoff or Tongaat scandal on our hands?
Yeah, I'd probably not say the start of Tongaat scandal. I think Oceana's got a governance problem. I mean, we've engaged with them. The big issue is governance. I don't think there is fraud at this stage. I mean, they keep reiterating that there is no fraud, and they spoke about the CFO situation and the CEO situation, and they talk about the conduct of the CEO who's resigned, and the fact that there is a grievance that they received from the suspended CFO. But bottom line, I think we've got a governance situation, and whether the numbers come out, I mean, I think that the governance overhang will remain. And I think what could help that situation is to see maybe changes in the board. I mean, the board needs to probably relook at themselves and say, is there something they can do to actually put the interests of the shareholders ahead of themselves? I mean, and that could be doing some changes at board level.